Alright, hello. This video I'm going to be focusing on the legs, but before we start, I'd highly recommend you watch the first part if you haven't, because it'll just make much more sense. And we've went from 180 subs to 730. Now that's just insane. Like 730 is more than I would have expected out of that video. I expected 10, but thank you. And yeah, we're going to be looking at linkages. Get out of here. You're not done yet. But yeah, so let's start the video. Now, before we do actually start, this is the phone blocks boards, and I've been wiring it. It went on fire today. Like, it started smoking. It was kind of a disaster. It's kind of in a mess right now, but don't worry, someone did comment on the old short. I'm still doing it. The video should be out next week or the week after. Depends, obviously. But yeah, I think we can just start right into this video. No explanation needed, because if you're confused, I'm making Neo Metal Sonic in real life. And yeah, it's kind of chill. Just start the video already. But as you can see here, I've been working on the leg linkages and just the rough shape of it in general. And as you can see here, this is just some rough ideas of the leg. I was going to have it on an inlet kind of hinge design. I'll show it on screen up here. And I did some quick work on the arm. It used a omnidirectional ball kind of hinge thing to mimic a shoulder almost. And then the same 3-part design as the legs. Now one thing, this is for foam blocks, but one thing that I struggled with was the linkages. They're really difficult because I've never done them before. As you can see, I've been doing servo motors, random linkages and gears and stuff. I've been really trying to figure it out, but yeah, I'm 14. This is very difficult. But anyway, I'm going to go back to doing the modeling now and show you what I have done. So I was actually using this website called MotionGen, which is basically an online linkage simulator. And what a linkage is basically just bars connecting to each other in slotted bars to perform movement, mechanical movement. So basically you can have this kind of linkage I'll show on screen, which is kind of similar to the HG2 deck. If you've seen it, there's some sort of name on it. I forgot what it is. But yeah, linkages are basically forms of movement through bars, in simple terms. It's basically a smooth mechanism, a gear and pinion thing. But yeah, like I kind of started to find other variants of quadruped leg movements, and I kind of started modeling my own designs after that. As you can see, I'm really intellectual. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. So I started to design the actual prototype just so I could see what the leg would be like. It would be very kind of flat, just to see 2 servo made. No real kind of thought put into it, just to see how a leg 3D print would actually work. Now, I don't even know. I was trying to get a 3D model of a servo motor there, but it was in .skp, so I had to use my school account to convert it. And then, yeah, I had to do all this until I finally finished it. After about 2 prints, a couple more linkage designs, I finished it, and yeah. So yeah, after my final design, after final designs, this is it. It was just a couple of pieces, and I got an M4 screw and put them together. So yeah, here is the leg linkage. So as you can see, it's a rough 2 M4 screws with 2 nuts, and the top part will rotate the full thing entirely, like so. But the middle part will act almost kind of like a knee. Now, I'll probably will make it so tensioned instead of putting another servo there, so probably spring controlled. Oh, it's falling apart already. But this is just a rough prototype anyway. I'm not guaranteed to be using this exact design, but yeah, you know what? Just get rid of it. Perfect. Yeah, I really should not be making this, but you get the point. It's a leg. It's nothing special. Now, I still haven't chosen what brain I'll use for the final one. These are single board computers, basically tiny little credit card sized computers. Now, their specs are bad. This bigger one has 1 gig of RAM, the small one has 512. Now, this one is the older model. It's not made anymore. It's the Raspberry Pi Zero 1.3. This doesn't even have Wi Fi. As you can see, right up here, 1.3, 2015. 10 years ago. And this one isn't much better. This is actually my broken one. But yeah, so these are basically tiny little computers. And what this is even a smaller computer. This is our Arduino, which is basically used for only controlling motors and stuff. But whereas the Raspberry Pi can actually like watch YouTube and stuff. Well, badly, but still. And these things are great for like prototyping, but I think I'll use something like this or what's called a Jetson Nano. Jetson Nanos are basically like these, but from Nvidia, €250, expensive. But they can basically make the robot walk in a really fluid, humanly way. It's hard to describe on camera, but I'll show a video if I can get it on screen. But they will basically use AI training to train the motors to walk in a way. It's really hard to explain. But yeah, it's pretty good, but pretty expensive. So I'll probably use a Raspberry Pi 5, which is like a middle ground. It's around 100. Depends on if I get a monetized and stuff. But this is like my other project. It's very badly made. It made it like I started making it this time last year, I'd be saying, because that's when I got my 3D printer. But yeah, that's basically the stuff for the brains, and I'm going to make a prototype of it, pretty small, like, I mean, stand on this desk small. And I'll probably use an Arduino as the brain, just because I want to get all the linkages right, all the mechanics right, and stuff like that. That's just kind of boring, that's not going to be bothered to put on screen. And for the actual height of it, it's going to be around 5'5" to 6'3" now. That depends on also sponsorships and stuff and how much I'm going to procrastinate this. But I'm also going to try and make it as accurate to the games. But it's going to be difficult, but yeah. Now, looking at the pose, it was actually going to be an armor thing, but I think it'll just be easier to make it a somewhat kind of robotic thing first, and then do that in like a couple of years, because I do not have that level of brain yet. And also the other poll, that one was the type of videos that it made. It was progress reports that won, but I kind of prefer making it a series, and it'll work out more for how I have this set up. So yeah, we're going to do a series kind of thing like this. So we'll do part 1 for the leg prototype, then once it actually gets to making the real bigger thing. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at some of the comments in the last video, just as suggestions. So, make it powered from uranium. This is an obvious no. I know this is a joke, and but I will maybe make Chaos Emeralds if I have time at the end. And they're not obviously going to be powered by uranium, but they will be like extra battery backups. And I want to I have a rough idea of using butane to make the metal look shiny, to make it look like it's in a super form. But yeah, now on to the next comment. Put a needle mouse picture in it. Sure. I think that's some sort of Sonic EXE thing. I never really cared about Sonic EXE, I can't lie. Make it fight nosy is a big comment. For obvious reasons, I can't really, because first of all, this hopefully will actually put up a fight, but it's mainly just actually getting it over to the United States. I don't think Metal Sonic would be a great passenger on an airplane. Put a kill code in it. No, why would I do that? That's just pointless. But yeah, for the OGs that care about phone blocks, it is still going to happen. Don't worry, it will happen before the Neo Metal Sonic, but it won't be at the same scale, because I kind of stupidly made one of the boards wrong, because the ribbon cable went on fire. It literally started smoking, and it's a bit of a pity, but I mean, hey, I'll probably use something like maybe a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino to kind of reroute it, maybe, and I'll see if that might work. Or what I'm going to do is use USB prototyping boards, just plug it into a USB and have one connector. It's not going to be the same effect as what I wanted it to be, but I mean, I should have done this from the beginning anyway, just to see would it work. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, and thanks so much for the recent support. Seriously, we're actually close to 1,000 subscribers. 1,000. That's insane. Over like 4 days, 5 days, we got 700 subs. So kind of make this as the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7 subscriber special, because I kind of didn't really do anything. But seriously, thank you. This was basically the 5+100 sub special. Yeah, this video. But don't worry, phone block should be out soon. This is the board that actually got fried, and I have loads of them. And I might even set up a shop one day and make these into like keychains, because I got so many of them. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I'd recommend, if you didn't watch the first part, like I said at the start, because it just makes much more sense then. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.